Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Black Dove back again with another video for seven chakras meditation, your seven main chakras meditation. Tonight's video is on solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus is yellow. The element is fire. Um, but before I get into anything else, do me a favor, subscribe, like, and share this video and hit the notification button so you'll be notified when I go live or when I post a video. So, really quick, let me just give you a rundown of what's always a staple in my meditation when I'm meditating. My bell, my candle, my incense, and my glass of water, um, and a crystal. So, my crystal I'm using tonight is a bumblebee agate, but it has nothing to do with solar plexus. It's just it's probably my second favorite crystal. It helps my energy, my chakra energy, and my gifts and abilities. It helps me regulate my energy, especially because a lot of my energy builds up in my hands. So my hands are always going off, and I have a tendency to shock and electrocute people when I touch them. So this crystal helps me connect to my higher power, to the universe, to my angels, to my ancestors, to the ancestors. This is a good crystal for meditation. Even if it's not a chakra meditation, I use it for just regular meditation when I'm meditating or I'm just sitting and listening and speaking to my higher self, the creator, the universe, the spirits, the angels, and of course the ancestors. Um, but crystals that you can use for your solar plex meditation are citrine, amber, golden topaz. So yeah, I have some golden topaz. I have a lot of little golden topaz stones that I use to make charms, jewelry for people, for customers, for clients, for friends. You can use one of those crystals or research solar plexus and see what crystals you can use and then find out what crystal speaks to you, right? It's all about finding what works for you. Not necessarily what works for me is going to work for you, but trust your intuition. Trust your intuition, right? Um, and figure out what speaks to you and what works for you. Because what works for me may not work for you. But I'm just giving you ideas of how you can go about balancing your solar plexus chakra. I always have my bell, a candle, incense, and a glass of water and a crystal. I gave you a few crystals. I mentioned a few crystals. Citrine is one of them. Yellow topaz. Sunstone is another one. Some herbs or essential oils you can use. Mandarin. Mandarin is a good scent, a good essential oil, a good herb. My favorite one my favorite two is probably rosemary and peppermint. Um, I love the smell of rosemary and peppermint. So peppermint is actually one of the essential oils in my solar plexus candle that I made. But you don't have to buy a solar plexus candle. You could buy a yellow candle and then anoint it with peppermint, rosemary, and that'll work too, right? So the mantra for solar plexus is Rum. So that's what I'll be chanting tonight. Um, Before I even start my meditation, as always, I take my lovely Palo Santo stick that I have here, which you can see that I've burned it, used it before for other meditations. I simply light it. Normally I would use a match, but my candle's already lit, so in my left hand, I'm just gonna light my Palo Santo stick off of my candle. Is it lit? No, I might have to strike a match for sure, because it doesn't seem to. Yep, Spirit's like, stop doing it. Oh no, it's lit. It's lit. Can you see? It's burning. Okay. So before I start my meditation, I always light my Palo Santo and just ask for a little protection and guidance. Figure out how you want to word it and what works best for you. But I simply call upon the creator of all things, the archangels and the angels, the spirits, and the ancestors. I ask that you guide and protect me on the path of truth and righteousness, and only allow good energy and good spirits in. I then take my Palo Santo stick. You can let it burn, put it in. I have a little copper cauldron. Um, I just stick it in there. And then I take a few deep breaths in, hold it, and then release. So I breathe in through my nose. I hold it for a bit, a couple of seconds, and then I release it through my mouth. And I do that a few times until I feel this calm and ease and relaxation come over me, right? So I'll go in through my nose, hold, and out through my mouth. And depending on the type of day I had or how much energy I picked up around, if I go out the house, if I'm out and about and I pick up other people's low frequencies, I'll do it a couple of times, just to release some of the energy that I've picked up through the day, so that I can calm and relax myself and focus on my meditation. So you have to feel that out and see how you feel when you're doing your breathing, um, and you'll recognize the release of tension or the release of stress or the release of a low frequency negative energy. So do it as long as you need to do it, right? The whole idea is to figure out what works for you. So I do it a couple of times depending on the day I had. Once I'm done with that, I then begin to start my chant. Like I said in my other videos, I do it 10 times and then ring my bell, and then I'll do the breathing over again and then do my chant again 10 times. Okay, so I've done my breathing. I'm ready to do my chant. I'm just going to start. Ram. 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 I then do my breathing exercise a couple of times. So in through my nose, hold it, and out through my mouth. Once I've finished with my breathing, I will then do the mantra chant again, another set of 10. Rum, 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 rum. After the second time, I then, oh my goodness, my hands are going off. My hands are going off, and my crown chakra. I got this pressure at the top of my head, y'all. Forgive me. Give me a second. After I do the second 10, which I lost count, y'all, so I might have went over 10, but I'll do the breathing exercise again. In through my nose, hold it, and out through my mouth. After I've done it a couple of times, my energy is really flowing. I can feel the warmth in my solar plexus chakra and my abdomen. And oftentimes it will trigger my hands. My hands are both itching and warm. It's one of the reasons why I picked up my bumblebee agate. I'll sit with my candle, my incense, and just sit in the energy for a while, right? Um, but you don't have to do 2 sets of 10 when you're doing your chant. I do 2 sets of 10. I've been doing meditation, chakra meditation for a while and just meditating for a while, for quite some time now, 4 years now. So you need to figure out what works for you. Maybe you don't do it 10 times. Maybe you do it 5 times, right? Because it's something new to you. Um, maybe you do it 5 times in sets of 7, or you just figure out what works for you, what speaks to you. Follow your intuition, right? Trust your intuition, because spirit will never lead you wrong. That's one thing. Spirit don't lie. Spirit will always tell you the truth. Human beings lie, but spirits don't lie. The spirit won't lie. So follow your instincts. Trust your gut. Trust yourself. Figure out what works for you. Um, And that goes for everything. Not my setup and the way I set up for my chakra meditation doesn't have to be your setup, right? Um, Figure out what herbs speak to you. Research each chakra, what herbs are used, which herbs you can use to balance, open and balance each chakra and keep your chakras healthy. And then figure out which one speaks to you. Like I said, I love peppermint and rosemary, right? But you can use mandarin for people who like a sweeter scent, a sweeter aroma. You can use mandarin. Um, you can use coriander, cypress, ginger, geranium. Geranium's a nice scent. I always my go-to scent for solar plexus is peppermint, but because I love it, but also because you can use peppermint for some of the other chakras too. So you'll find out that some of your herbs overlap into other chakras as well when you're doing your research. So I advise, I encourage, do your research, right? On herbs that help open and balance your seven main chakras. We're talking about seven main chakras meditation. And find out one that speaks to you, right? That makes you feel good, that brings a calmness, brings a um, uh, good energy to you, and go with it. Because what works for me may not necessarily work for you, right? But like I said, basic instruments in my meditation is my bell. Now, you can get a bell from East Meets West, but I didn't buy my bell from East Meets West. I got mine from a small business shop, but you can get it from East Meets West. They do sell bells. My candle I made, soy wax, peppermint is in my candle, yellow coloring, dye coloring, and then some other herbs. Citrine crystal is in my candle. But like I said, you don't have to buy a candle that's made specifically for solar plexus chakra meditation, right? You can buy a yellow candle and then anoint it with your essential oil and your herb that you're choosing to use. Um, my incense is this heavenly scent. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I swear by this incense. I burn this incense a lot. Um, and it just smells fantastic. And then always my Palo Santo stick because I use it for my blessing and protection. And then a glass of water, right? The most important thing to do is to figure out what works for you when you're on this journey to tapping into the universe and your higher self and balancing and opening your chakras. And then after you've done it for a while, you'll become more comfortable with the way you do it. Um, I would suggest sticking to a routine, like I said in my other videos. If you're going to do it for 3 days, say it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, make sure that you're doing all your chakra meditations Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, whatever the pattern may be for you. Make sure you're consistent to that pattern because I know people don't like to hear the word ritual, but it is in a way a ritual meditation, but it is also a ritual, right? So you want to be consistent um, and not really stray away from your ritual and your because it's going to help you in ways where you know You're going to be activating and balancing and supercharging chakras, right? And also opening yourself up to the creator, the angels, the spirits, and most of all your ancestors, because believe it or not, your ancestors are watching. They're all everybody. The creator is always watching. Whether you want to call it God, um, but before God was a man, it was a woman, divine feminine energy. So whether it's the divine feminine mother or the heavenly father, the angels, the spirits, and the ancestors, they're always watching. They're always present, right? Um, so if you sit quiet long enough and you increase your frequency, right, to a higher frequency, you and even be able to tap into your higher self because you are a higher being here to experience what it is to be human. So there is you are part of the creator. Tap into your power, your abilities to hear, listen, and and they're guiding you. Just figure out what works for you. Don't think because this is the way I do it, you have to do it that way. I'm just giving you basic. Always have water. You may necessarily not need a bell. I have a best friend and also a student. You want to call her a student? I'll call her a student, not a client. Um, who doesn't have a bell, a physical bell, but she sets her timer and it's like her bell, right? Um, she obviously gets her candles from me because I make the candles. I make my candles, so I do provide her with the candles, um, and a Palo Santo stick, right? But I do my meditation sitting down. She doesn't do her meditation sitting down. She's not comfortable sitting down when she's doing her chakra meditations. So she tends to do them standing up, right? She figured out what works for her. She doesn't do them at night like I do my meditations at night. She does hers at a different time of the day because it works for her. It also gives her the ability to focus. So all these things come into play because you're going to have the ability to focus, relax, so you have to figure out what works for you. So with that being said, you should figure out what crystals speak to you, the energy of the crystals that speak to you, the aromas of the herbs and essential oils that speak to you, and trust yourself. And then make adjustments along the way as you practice and you grow, right? Um, yes, nothing to it. And trust, have faith. Faith goes a long way. Trust me, faith goes a very long way. Um, hmm. Spirit saying to me, I've come too far from where I started from. So once you get to going, just have faith. The universe, the angels, the spirits, your ancestors, they'll guide you. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy for sure. Nobody told me. But I tell you one thing, you'll find out once you've started and you're in the process of growing spiritually, right? And I'm not talking religion, I'm talking spirituality because there is a difference. Most religious people are probably not spiritual and wouldn't know the creator if he came up and smacked them in the face, or if she came up and smacked him in the face. wouldn't know an angel if the angel was sitting on a train or the bus next to them, right? So um, it's all about having faith, having faith, and trusting the universe, trusting the creator, trusting the angels, trusting the spirits, trusting the ancestors. Um, yeah, because I've come a long way. And the one consistent thing I've been able to count on is my spirituality. Yeah, I was raised in a church. I was a Sunday school teacher. Oh yeah, I was a Sunday school teacher. I'm about to testify. I'm about to bear witness, y'all. I'm about to share. I was a Sunday school teacher, right? But my entire life I had visions. I saw things. Spirits talked to me, kept me out of a lot of trouble, kept me away from a lot of unhealthy people. I've even told friends, strangers, guys that I dated, things that were going to happen to them or that would happen. And a guy I dated, I met him when I was 19. I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't deserve that clout. But he literally looked at me one day after I told him something and it happened. And he called me up and he was like, I need to see you. Yeah, he's a troublesome guy anyway. He wasn't the type of guy that any decent woman wanted to date. But I didn't know that when I met him. I was young. He was my first boyfriend actually, and I started dating him at 19. And I met him through a friend. I was introduced through a friend, and I told him something. And I'm not gonna put his business out there. I should, because y'all really don't know his name. But he was dating me or beginning to date me and dating another girl at the same time, and he thought I didn't know. And I knew because Spirit has showed it to me. And I told him, and he was like, "That's not true. You're lying." No, that's my cousin. I introduced you to her. That's my cousin. I told you she was my cousin. Some time went by, y'all, and I went into a store and I saw him and the girl. And when he saw me, I bet you he had flashbacks to when I told him that I knew he was dating me and another girl and that it would all come out because I would end up bumping into them while I was out shopping. And it happened like that. And he called me, was like, "You home?" After a couple of days after, I guess he got past the "damn, I'm caught" type of shit. And he thought he was a smooth, and he was kind of smooth, but I was 19 and I was young and naive too at the same time. Because, like I said, I wasn't allowed to date. He was actually my first boyfriend. Um, and he called me up and he was like, "What are you, like the female Nostradamus?" And I kind of laughed at him and I was like, "Nostradamus ain't got nothing on me." Because truth is, y'all, Nostradamus stole his prophecies from black women. Yeah, that's a real, look it up. Mami Wata and the Black Doves of Africa. Nostradamus is a thief. He's a phony. So for all of you who are gonna get on here and probably call me all kinds of names because I'm talking about Nostradamus as a phony, he's a fraud. He's a fraud. He wish he was a black woman with the gifts that a lot of black women got because we carry the blood and the DNA of all the Sibyls, the black doves, which is hence the reason why I call myself a black dove. But do your research. Look up Mami Wata and the Black Doves of Africa. But I digress. The point was have faith because I have been through a lot of things and as a Sunday school teacher when I was in church, and I was very active in church. I was a Sunday school teacher. I gave the whole schmeal. I told my whole, didn't tell my whole story, but I did tell y'all in my very first video, my introduction video to my YouTube channel. I was a Sunday school teacher. I was the youngest missionary. I was the youngest lay woman. Um, but I was reading all kinds of books, right? Not just the Bible from front to back, but reading all kinds of books, and used to hang out in Harlem a lot, and made really good friends with the guy. I don't, I'm telling y'all, the universe brought me and this guy together. We were friends, never became anything but just more than friends. We were really good friends, and I was walking and reading a book. Didn't live in Harlem. Don't live in New York. I don't live in New York, but I loved Harlem. Um, and I hung out there a lot because one of my older sisters lived up in Harlem. And I was walking and reading this book, and I bumped into this guy, and he happened to see the book I was reading, and we exchanged numbers, and we just started reading books together, right? Um, he doesn't live in Harlem anymore. He doesn't live in Harlem anymore. But we had an instant connection. I used to sit in his apartment for hours in his chair and read books and read books. And I was a Sunday school teacher at the time. I was young. I was young in my early 20s. And boy, I would go to Sunday school and I would look at those lessons, and I always questioned the lessons because I knew they weren't really, they were these Sunday school lessons that they were giving us to teach the children were the same old lessons, same lesson every time of the year. So it was always the same lesson. There was nothing new, no new scriptures, no new information. And I knew that the Bible was missing books, right? I'll tell you why the Bible was missing books, because the books were stolen from the Black Doves, the Sibyls, um, also known as the Pleiades. Look this up, y'all. Look up Mami Wata and the Black Doves of Africa. Um, Maybe I'll do a lesson on them. Maybe I'll do a lesson on them. Maybe they might be the next lesson after I finish with my 7 main chakra meditation videos. But in the meantime, if you're really trying to connect with the universe and your higher self and the creator and the spirits and the angels and the ancestors, um, you should you should do your research. Find some books to read. I have a book. I have two books actually on Mami Wata and the Black Doves um, of Africa. Maybe I'll make a video on them, a short little video, and post it when I get some time outside of work and doing things for my son, because I have a son who's in his senior year of high school, and college in senior year is taking up a lot of time outside of work. Um, but yeah, that was my solar plexus meditation. My name is Black Dove. Subscribe, like, and share this video. Hit the notification button for more content. And until next time, guys, be good to each other. Be good to each other, because karma is real. And you do, the energy that you put out does come back to you, whether you want to believe it or not. Religious people will tell you you reap what you sow. It is actually a real thing. Um, it's called karma. The universe calls it karma. It's basically your energy coming back to you. So if you done good, good's gonna come back to you. If you treated people like shit and you're in a karmic season, just know that what comes back to you is what you've put out. So I encourage you to set good intentions, not just towards your loved ones, your family and friends, but towards strangers too. Your next door neighbor that lives next to you. You may not like them, but do something nice and kind. For me, um, it makes me a better person. It honestly does. Because I'm thinking beyond myself, right? And we're all human beings here. We're all higher beings experiencing a human being, what it is to be a human. Um, and we shouldn't forget that we're humans. We should disregard what stereotypes are being set out there about each other and see each other for human beings and treat each other right because karma's a real thing. Um, but with that being said, be mindful and careful because you never know when you might be talking to an angel. You never know when you might be talking to an angel, whether it's a earth angel, right? Or an angel that is taken on disguise. It's I don't know what no other way right now to say it, right? I don't know no other way to say it, but it is real. It is a real thing. I think once I'm done with my 7 main chakra meditation videos, I'm going to share an experience with you guys um, that I think was pivotal and me not being ashamed of being a child of the universe. I've always been running towards it my entire life, right? Trying to figure out what is this with me? See things, hear things, experience things, know things that I shouldn't know, understand things that I maybe shouldn't understand, right? At a young age. Um, but I've always been running towards it. Never been afraid. Never been afraid. I've seen a lot of things, y'all. I've been through a lot of things. I've also experienced a lot of spiritual things that probably would make most people find a corner and quiver and shiver and hide. So I just encourage you. I want to encourage you and tell you you're not alone. And don't be afraid. Do the research, right? Um, take what I've offered you and given you and make it your own. Make it your own because if you if you are led to it, that means you're supposed to be here doing this. You're supposed to be doing the work because he's called you to do it. Um, for many of us, especially so-called African Americans or people of color, black people in general, we've gotten away from what our ancestors practiced, right? And we were told that the savior, God, is this blonde hair, blue eyed white man, and that's a lie. Evidence has come out and shown it's a lie. There's so many things out there now that you know it's a lie. But if you really want to know, like I said, do your research. Look up Mami Wata and the Black Doves of Africa. Um, Our ancestors do root work. They are spiritual. And through this journey with you guys, I will teach y'all herbs that I've used for healing, herbs that I've used for rituals, herbs that I've used for protection. But ultimately, I hope you find that the Creator is real, angels are real, spirits are real, and our ancestors are most certainly with us every step of the way. So, until next time, I wish you all much joy and happiness, prosperity and abundance, and love. True, genuine love. See you guys next time.